Today's the day, Pi Day, 3/14, which marks the beginning of the protests against the fascist regime. The major protests, the serious ones we all need to be focusing on and sharing and advertising and promoting, because these are the three serious protests that are focusing on the main things we need to be focused on. So 3/14 today, starting today, one of the protests is the no national general strike. Starting today, do not go to work. Do not clock in. And make sure, if you haven't known, this protest has been advertised for a month, but if you didn't know, you can go to work and make sure you tell all of your co-workers and stuff this information, so that starting tomorrow, none of you go to work, and continue that for as long as possible. That is the main leverage we have. Every real war, the only real war is the class war. And to win the class war, we withhold our labor. Don't work, don't clock in, quiet quit, whatever you need to do. Stop paying bills. Don't work until they bring our wages, stop stealing our wages first off, and bring our wages up to at least $55 an hour, which is what it would be if wages hadn't remained stagnant since the 1970s. So collectively, by class, yes, we're all in the same class. We're working class regardless of all the other demographics we are. Don't work. That is the first thing that we all need to focus on and stay focused on. And the Montgomery bus protest lasted a whole year, so maybe we can try our best to make our withholding our labor for one entire year. That's the goal, okay? Second protest is another thing that we all need to focus on and remain focused on, is 3/14, the 14th Amendment, Section 3, which Trump and pretty much every conservative have violated. And that if you violate the Constitution, you are not allowed to have any governmental position. You're not allowed to show up on ballots. You're not allowed to represent the government. You're not allowed to be a judge, a cop, the president in Congress, or anything. And all the conservatives, all the fascists, all the Nazis have violated that oath. And the Constitution also says that any government that is tyrannical, it is we the people who have to remove the tyrannical government. We cannot wait on a Luigi to show up and save us. We cannot wait on the cops to do the right thing, or the FBI to do the right thing, or Congress to do the right thing. They won't. So we need to be the Luigi in this situation. Okay? All of us. So find your inner Luigi and act on it. And so, happening right now in DC, actually, no, Trump, I don't know if you were aware of this, but Trump actually didn't win the 2024 election. Evidence has come out that he, with the help of Felon Musk, have stolen 3,535,000 votes from Kamala Harris, which would have had her win the presidential election with 286 electoral votes and the popular vote. So we have an illegal president. So I know they're using shock and awe tactics to say, oh, they're, doing so many horrible things, but you need to keep your focus and keep mentioning how Trump is an illegal president, stole the election, and how he and every conservative have violated the 14th Amendment, Section 3. That's why 314 protest is about the removal of this tyrannical regime, for us to never let up on reminding and talking about this, regardless of what other crazy stuff they're doing. This is the main focus. Okay? So, that's another protest that's happening starting today. If you won't adhere to the 14th Amendment, Section 3, we the people will forcibly remove you as a tyrannical government. And the third protest starting today is also related to the same thing, Amendment 14, Section 3, but for veterans. How veterans have a responsibility. We've all taken an oath to protect the United States and the Constitution against terrorists, foreign and domestic. Because I'm sure we've all been asking, where are the veterans in all these protests, right? Why aren't they armed on the front lines during all of these protests? Well, starting today is a big veterans protest in Washington, D.C., to gathering all the veterans who remember their oath to the Constitution and are honoring it, to say, hey, today's your last chance to, remove yourself from office. Trump, Musk, all y'all. Otherwise, we are going to do our oath of office and remove all domestic terrorists. That is our duty as veterans. And you guys have taken away veterans' benefits, and you've mocked us, and you don't want to have us veterans as your enemy. So, all these three things are the main revolution starting today, 3/14. Okay, starting Pi Day. So remember, each one has the main focus that you need to stay focused on, and never let up, never stop talking about it. Always keep repeating over and over and over again. First one, the real war is a class war. Regardless of all the other crazy stuff they do, you need to remind people about wage theft, about how about ghost jobs, about overwork, about how we are not being properly paid for our labor, and how we have a right to unionize, to assemble, to go on strike, and to withhold our labor until we get what we deserve in terms of thriving and living wages, benefits, excellent working conditions, and everything. Because this is just modern version of slavery. I don't know if you realize it, but slavery is bad. And wealth inequality is at its highest gap that it has ever been. So you have a right not to work. You have a right not to work until you are properly paid a thriving wage of at least $55 an hour. All jobs, regardless. So keep that momentum going for as long as you possibly can. And remember, I do not obey in advance. When there are unlawful laws, you do not have to follow the law at all. They're unlawful. They're unconstitutional. They're immoral, unethical, and dishonorable. You do not have to follow unlawful laws. So, I do not obey in advance. That's number one. Keep that going. Number two, we have an illegal president and an illegal administration, and all conservatives are illegal party. They have violated the Constitution. They are traitors, They are domestic terrorists. They are foreign terrorists also. And this Amendment 14, Section 3, they have violated, and they shouldn't have even been on the ballots as an option. No conservative for any judge or cop or Congress or anything. And that includes Democrats too, because we don't have an actual proper centrist or leftist party here. We have two conservative parties, which are the opposite of American values. That's what conservatism is. So always keep that going, despite all the other crazy. Keep the momentum. Trump is an illegal president. He stole 4 million votes away from Kamala Harris. He stole the election. Keep that going. You saw what the conservatives did when Biden didn't even steal the election. They kept that momentum up, talking about it for 4 years until Trump could steal the election this time around. We need to stop talking about many different things or any changes that they make. We need to focus on these 3 topics about the wealth inequality. That's one. The fact that he stole the election, and he's an illegal president, and all of them are his illegal cabinet. And 3, the violation of the Constitution, and how if only true Americans and true patriots will value and fight for the Constitution against this tyrannical government, and that the Constitution allows us the power as ordinary citizens to remove a tyrannical government. We need to remind people of that constantly. Okay? So, stop working. Constantly remind people that the election was stolen, and Trump and his entire cabinet and all conservatives are illegal under the 14th Amendment, Section 3, to even be anywhere in government. And 3, that the Constitution gives us the right as ordinary citizens to arrest anyone in the tyrannical government, including cops who enable the tyrannical fascist government. Okay? We're allowed. It's our civic duty to do this. So, all these protests are starting today, and let's keep it going for at least a year, okay? Try. Thank you.